here with Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices, and we're just going to kind of introduce my man Bobby. He's newer to the market, and then kind of discuss businesses, creating your own business, what's going on in the market. He's in the St. John's, St. Augustine area, specifically, more or less, and kind of just, play off each other and go from there on this lovely Friday/Saturday we're having here. So Bobby, if you don't mind, how did we meet again?
We met at the St. John's Chamber of Commerce at DJ's Clam Shack. Shout out to them.
That was some good food.
Great lunch and dinner, late lunch dinner. I'm new to the area and new to real estate, so I had joined the chamber through Berkshire Hathaway. And that way I could get out and meet some of the locals and meet some of the local businesses, and as me and Jacob met.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
St. John's Commerce is really cool because it gives you a little bit of peace of mind that you're meeting like-minded individuals. I mean, I haven't done that many events, but the ones that I think I went to like 3 of them, and it was cool just to like shake hands with people, other business owners, people that's trying to change the community, things like that. That restaurant is really good, by the way, if you guys want to check that out, right downtown St. Augustine. What's your background before coming into the real estate industry?
So I come from working in music production. I owned a recording studio for about 10 years in New Jersey. I went out to California and ran a couple of studios there and worked as an audio engineer and producer. Music industry changed a lot during COVID and kind of set us back to a lot of remote work, mixing from home, where a lot of the studio work kind of slowed down. And it gave me an opportunity to move into another field. Wound up leaving California. Family started to move out to Florida. So figured once I came out here, I can get into the real estate industry, get my license. And it afforded me the opportunity to do a little bit of both. I can still work on music and engineer, but it creates another stream of income being able to get into real estate.
For sure.
And have a little bit more stability in life.
Are you still working on that currently?
Yeah, I still work in music, absolutely. There's a couple things I'm working on currently, and like I said, though, I can mix from home and I can work from home and engineer. So, it's give and take with everything.
For sure. What genre were you in?
I did a lot of rock music. Worked with classical guitarists. When I was in New Jersey, I did a lot of hip hop and rap. I had a lot of artists coming from New York. And
do you got anybody you can point out and say I work with this guy or this guy?
I don't want to do any name dropping, but I've worked with some cool. I've worked with some cool people. But yeah, it's kind of when you're working on music, it's all kind of the same thing. It's same thing with you could say kind of with real estate too. It's all the same. Doesn't matter the transactions that you're doing, but the genres don't make as much of a difference as you would necessarily think.
Gotcha. And at the end of the day, you're dealing with people, right? So.
And at the end of the day, you're dealing with people, and I think that's the key to everything that we've done in life is customer and client relationships and customer service, and how you deal and create those relationships and maintain them.
Relationships, and then the referral, and then people talking highly of you, and to refer you to someone else.
Your name and your reputation is everything. How you present yourself, what you do, and by your word and sticking to your word is the reputation that people are going to know you by.
Oh, absolutely. How do you like this area compared to where you were in California? That's a pretty big change, I would say, West Coast to East Coast.
There's plus and minuses with everything. California is beautiful, and St. Augustine is beautiful too. So, but there's just they're totally different places. Growing up, I'm from New Jersey, so coming back to the East Coast, it was really nice. I was out in California for 6 years. Having the mountains and the beach is beautiful at the same time. But paying $6-7 for gas isn't so beautiful. So pick your poisons and what's important in life.
That's true. I mean, even with New Jersey, California, I'm from Buffalo, so it makes the same thing.
Exactly.
The weather, the cold and stuff, and then in California you have nicer weather. But I personally think a lot of people are moving here because of the non-state tax right now.
There's no state income tax. It's a great way, to save some money. The cost of living is going up in our area too.
It is for sure.
But it's still not nearly as expensive as say New Jersey, New York, California.
Yeah, the big markets right there.
Yeah,
no, for sure. What would you say is the top 3 things you've learned getting into the real estate market at this point in time, which is kind of where we're at for 2024 fiscal year?
I think top 3 things I've learned getting into the market. Well, there's been so many changes that we've seen in
a short period of time.
In a short period of time. For me, it doesn't matter being new to real estate. I only started this past summer. So what I'm learning is, it's easy to learn new things when that's all you're going to learn.
True,
I'm not
true.
stuck in old ways and have to learn, new contracts and new ways of doing business. But I think a lot of the things that I've learned or things that I've already known just from operating other businesses, which again would be client relationships, client acquisition, and persistence in your business and your workflow. If you're gonna give up right away, and if I had started this say maybe 10 years ago when I was a little younger, I might not have stuck through it the way that I'm sticking through it now. But if you're persistent and you follow the steps to create clientele and create relationships and nurture those relationships, things will pay off.
Absolutely. I agree with that because they always say what you're doing now is going to have the seeds that you're sowing now will start to bloom 3 months, 6 months, a year from now. And you don't know who you're meeting currently that's going to get you in the situation that you're looking for nonetheless, or the people you're the newer people you're encountering in this new industry. So I completely agree with you. Us meeting was like super cool. And then this network is net worth. Network is your net worth. That's definitely a thing.
And the people you surround yourself with, and
for sure, just being with like-minded people looking to get to the same end goals that you're looking to do. What would you say is something that surprised you about the real estate industry that you were unsure of previously?
That's an interesting question. Good and bad in every industry. You see good habits, bad habits. You see people that don't take time to do things and nurture relationships the way that they should. And when, if you see things that are happening based on you're doing things for the wrong reason, it might get you somewhere eventually. But again, who you are and your character, I think, leads to longer lasting success, maybe.
For sure. There's some shady people out there.
There's some shady people in all businesses.
Yeah.
Luckily I'm surrounded with a lot of really good people, which is really important. And that's what helps you to build up to be who you are, I guess, at the end of the day.
No, absolutely. And that makes sense because when you're super new and you're trying to do things the right way, you see people trying to cut corners. You're just like, that's not the way we should be doing it. So that totally makes sense.
Yeah, and there can be legal ramifications to things.
Yeah, and I mean, and we're dealing with, huge transaction. The average loan amount here in St. Augustine, Jacksonville is what, 385, something like that, or something around there. So, I mean, that's just your average. Most houses in the new builds are, $600,000 to $900,000. So those are big numbers. And you want to make sure that you're doing your due diligence to assist your clients on a financial level.
Yeah, I think something else that surprised me is, especially coming into this when, and seeing a lot of new changes really quick in an industry after the NAR settlement, seeing these buyer representation agreements. There's a lot of, you see a lot of inability to adapt. To a changing industry.
Yeah.
If you've been in it for a long time, I can see I would have had a lot of struggles too if I had been doing something for so long, and now we're all trying to navigate these changes in an industry, and we're seeing with buyers too. That's a big surprise to me, and it's also not a surprise at all either. When I have to present a buyer representation agreement to a client, and you just watch kind of a blank stare go over their face because they're like, "I've never had to do this now." So it's definitely surprising to, I think, for all of us, even if you haven't been in the industry, to see this, because even if we've never worked in real estate, we've probably all had some sort of involvement in a real estate transaction, and now we're like, wait, what do I have to do?
I mean, just from leasing a house or apartment to buying, there's definitely. It's just funny because as a broker or a mortgage loan officer, we get changes every other quarter or every quarter. There's some type of change with a guideline or a new program, so we're always having to adapt, which is interesting. But this is the first large significant change that the real estate side had to deal with. So it's just interesting hearing like your perspective and others as well, that a lot of people can't adapt. And I mean, you got to adapt to the market, but also adapt to what's going on in sense of like laws and regulations. So that's really interesting.
And it changed nationwide for everyone, no matter what side you're on.
No, for sure. It's an interesting thing. At the end of the day, you want someone that's going to advocate on your behalf if you're a client looking to purchase or sell your property, and you want someone that's kind of not in the box, but they're going to do the right thing for you and for the community, for yourself, for themselves. So what would you say is going on?
Yeah,
go ahead.
Well, I just want to add to that, and that is one of the nice things about Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices working with the company is that we do work as single agents there, and that we have the ability to represent you in your full, in a fiduciary way to our clientele.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I heard only good things about Berkshire as well, so that makes sense. What do you think is going on right now in the kind of your pond, more or less? Because where do you kind of focus in right now?
So actually, that's a good question, because I've been focusing a lot of my time in my advertising and marketing efforts to relocation business. We're seeing a huge influx of people moving here from New York or moving up from Miami and basically Jacksonville into the St. Augustine area. And I've been focusing my efforts on building clientele in New York, really.
Okay.
And working on building some relocation business.
How do you go about that, if you don't mind me asking?
I've been doing a lot of Facebook meta ads and Instagram ads where I can generate lead forms and generate leads and then begin to nurture those leads.
Okay.
There's a lot of incentives for people that have, they've owned their home for 20 plus years in Long Island or, New York County, Manhattan. And to be able to leave New York as I left New Jersey and save on income tax and move close to the beach and somewhere where it's warm and they're going to save money and they can get more for their money and not have to deal with the hustle bustle that might not be necessary anymore, especially in a world where we're all working remote. And
that's a big one. Yeah.
We're seeing a lot of that where with interest rates still maybe higher, still are higher, and there's a little bit less possible inner movement. If I lived in St. Augustine and I'm already at a 2% interest rate mortgage, for me to move into a home that's going to be I'm going to pay more money for less of a home. It doesn't make sense where somebody coming from New York that's going to sell $1 million home, and they can buy for $750 or $600 and have more
1,300, 2,000 more square feet.
Exactly. It makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. That does make sense. That's a good. Nobody has ever said they're specifically looking to kind of navigate towards the. I don't want to say snowbirds, but the other demographic of people moving into the state or the city. So that makes sense. Yeah, my mom did. So she's from Buffalo. She moved down here last year. So so she goes back and forth. She's in New York right now, but yeah, she's from Buffalo and she moved here to St. Augustine. She likes it. She's like, no more snow for me. I don't know why she's up there now, but
I don't know if I could go back to it. I couldn't go back to winters.
Not winters. Like I'll go down for summer, spring, but not the cold months.
Shoveling 2 feet of snow gets old.
That doesn't sound fun anymore. I miss playing with it as a kid, but
it was fun as a kid. But once you have the adult responsibilities and you have to go to work,
warming the car up, all that stuff.
30 minutes ahead of time, go outside, start the car.
I am totally fine with that. That's awesome. That's a good idea, brother. With that being said, have you have any concern or assisting clients with communicating how to get pre-approved, what type of things they should look into, or what type of individuals or entities they should work with?
I think especially with interest rates being higher, this is a time where it's really important to weigh all of your options. If you're looking for financing and lending, having a great network of different mortgage brokers that you can go to and take clients to and refer them to explore all their options and be competitive on rates, see who's competitive on rates and who can offer the best programs. That's really, I think, a key, especially with new home buyers and people that might have a little bit less money to put down on a home. The good thing is there's a lot of programs that are available to, either for no money down or for first-time home buyers. There are a lot of different programs.
There's a lot of programs. If you have the credit, we could probably figure something out for sure. Like, don't just reach out. It's a phone call. the credit report may be your only cost up front. Most clients, most lenders or brokers are paying for your credit report. So it's literally just a phone call and a credit pull. And I can do a soft credit pull at that. So
yeah, and most people go to, Zillow first and then to the realtor and then to lending.
Yeah.
But really, go talk to a lender first, reach out to a realtor and ask, and then go talk to a lender and see what you're able to do if you're looking for a home. Especially with the way rent has gotten. Rent has gotten so expensive.
So expensive.
What you might be able to, what you thought you couldn't afford, you might very well be able to afford in this day and age.
That's not talked a lot because for you to rent an apartment right now or a home, you usually have to make at least 3 times the amount of the rent. You have to put down probably your first month's rent, a deposit, and maybe a security deposit. So that's like 3 months.
They want, typically at least first and last month.
So that's 2. So that could be pretty much your down payment and or your closing costs. And if you have that, we could definitely find you a home for you.
Yeah.
With the programs that are available.
And then especially with the new construction that's available, and they're throwing out $20,000-$30,000 in closing costs and buy downs and rates. I mean, it's very possible that your $2,000 or $2,500 a month apartment could turn into your mortgage less in your mortgage payment.
Yeah, depending on sure.
And you'll own your home and start building equity.
That's the big one right there. Stop paying someone else's lifestyle. Start working on your future and for your family, generations to come. I mean, appreciation. This is the best part here. This is the part that we like to talk about muscles and mortgages, right?
Mine have slowly been going smaller and smaller.
We'll talk about that. So I met Bobby, like I said, at the Chamber of Commerce. He did good, So I don't know how much you want to elaborate what's going on with you recently.
Yeah, we can talk a little bit. I have no problem with that.
Yeah, been working on. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we met and I was close to 190 pounds. Was going in the gym every day, and then turned out I had to have an appendectomy and lost 25 pounds in a short amount of time and set me back working out. But I'm going to let you start the segment, and then we can talk about health and how important it is.
So I always say, people make fun of me. I think health is wealth. I think looking good, feeling good makes you do good. So I am not as religious as I once was when I was younger, but I do like to lift the weights. I like to lift heavy. It makes you feel good. It's a good stress reliever. Yeah. So I know you kind of work out pretty much as well in the gym. So what type of things are you doing to kind of...
Well, right now I'm still getting back on track, but leading up to the operation and stuff, I was working out quite a lot, and it made me feel good. It gave me the energy to do my work during the day and keep my mental health strong. Mm-hmm. Your physical health goes right in hand with your mental health.
Absolutely.
Goes all in hand with how you feel about yourself. And if you look good and you feel good and you're taking care of yourself, then you're going to start to build those keys to success.
Absolutely.
Because I sure know the opposite of not taking care of yourself, and where I get to as well.
Yeah.
When we start to, neglect our body and our well-being, when we see the effects.
No, absolutely. I know dad bod is a thing right now, but I'm trying to keep that thing off of me at this point.
Exactly.
So one thing about going to the gym, that's one aspect of it, and then we have the mental and the nutritional aspect. Do you want to 100%. Kind of give a little bit of what you got going on?
I love to cook, and one of the big things, and I get crap from my family all the time, is I pick up whatever we're eating and look at the labels and start reading the labels. It's become a thing in the family, but now my whole family's doing it. And when when you start reading these labels, it's really scary. And you read what's in the bread or what's in your cookies, and I go, well, do you cook with that when you make cookies, or if you were making bread, you need salt, you need water, you need flour, a little oil, a couple eggs. And you're baking, but when we have lists of ingredients, what is that doing?
It's something that you can't even pronounce. Come on, man. It's just it is.
And it's one thing if it's here and there, but when you start compounding that over everything that you're eating, how can it not have an effect?
Make a meal and everything in the meal has 40 ingredients in it.
And a lot of the ingredients, sure, they might be fine, but it's once you start getting into the preservatives, what kind of we don't know. We really don't know what it does. And when we have the option to eat clean and cook for ourselves, I think, that's the way to go. Plus, I love to cook.
Yeah,
and, it tastes better.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Your home meal is going to be a lot better for you. I mean, with the price of groceries, you know, sometimes you may want to pick a good healthy spot. But no, yeah, it's definitely a thing. And with that being said, maybe this new, not to get too political, but this new office is going to do something about the preservatives in our food.
It would be
the food coloring, hopefully based upon at least allow us to mimic what's going on in Europe.
Absolutely.
All the things that they don't allow in their food. So hopefully that's
it would be great to see.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, there's no reason for it, and I think not to get too involved in this, but I think a lot of the companies have gotten
lazy.
They've got, well, not even lazy, but they're seeing, you know, when you start replacing good quality ingredients with lesser quality ingredients, and we reformulate over and over again to save money, at what expense?
Yeah.
You know, and if we're going to be a strong nation, and we're going to be, you know, a nation that's prosperous and wealthy, well, that all comes down to how we feel at the end of the day, and that comes from what we're eating in our diet.
And I think at the end of the day, it's love thy neighbor. And if you wouldn't eat it or have your family eat it, why would you produce it and have us consume it? That's what I think we need to get back to, is just loving the person next to you, you know, and doing things for them that you would want onto yourself.
Yep.
And I don't think the person that makes Skittles isn't having their children eat Skittles.
Yeah, Skittles aren't too bad, though.
I know. But hey, you know, get rid of the food coloring and it'll be fine, you know.
And everything in moderation.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
anything else. Everything in moderation. If you do anything, whether it's going to the gym more than you should, you're going to start to hurt. And you're going to have problems.
Sure.
So everything in moderation.
So jumping back to the real estate market, and let's talk about the fact that, you know, a realtor, you're self-employed, you've owned businesses before. What would you say is something that, if you're interested in becoming a realtor, or current realtors that may be struggling, what's the difference, or what's the similarities to owning your company and being a realtor? Because you're your company, right?
Yeah, I mean, they all go hand in hand. Whether you're an audio engineer, or you're a photographer, or you're a realtor, again, your reputation and your character, that's the key to your long-term success. And building those client relationships, getting out there and meeting people. You know, that's how we're going to build any business. Social media and everything is great, but word of mouth and just getting people to see you, meet you, talk to you, building those relationships in person, and not trying to sell them anything. You know, just make your services known, and over time those will develop. You know, stay top of mind. Keep in flow. Those are things that we talk about in real estate all the time, but they're also things that you have to do no matter what business you're in.
Absolutely.
You want to stay in flow. As the second you let off the gas of staying in contact with your network, people forget about you.
They out of sight, out of mind.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Out of sight, out of mind. Well, if you are interested in talking to Bobby a little bit more, if you're interested in moving down to St. Augustine market or other markets, reach out to him. He has a very, you know, plethora of information and a good supporting team over there. And our contact information will be at the bottom of this video. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to reach out, and check back with us soon.
Thanks for having me, Jacob.
Pleasure.